Okay, so Carolina Rush says stock market for Bryce
Yeah,
crashed.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I
All right,
said.
so
Yeah.
I'm glad you made that comment because I'm gonna reuse a slide from last week. Okay. Let me ask this again. What now? Okay. And the reason why I
Mm.
asked this is because, okay, is because now I get the feeling. Oh, okay. Let me start by saying this. There was reports that the Panthers turned down 4 trade offers for Bryce Young. 4. Okay. So to me, it seems like the plan is to sit Bryce Young. They still think he is going to be our quarterback, but they're going to sit him down, give him some time behind Andy Dalton, let him learn, take a breather, chill out, try and give his confidence back, all that good rigmarole. Okay. But my thing is now, if this game by Andy Dalton is not a fluke and he goes out there and balls out for the rest of the season, okay? Could you imagine? Could you just imagine if we sat Bryce down, okay? And at this point, at this point, me personally, I say you just go ahead and sit him for the rest of the season. Okay, if Andy Dalton goes out there and keeps us competitive and we win 3, 4, 5 more games, maybe I don't see any reason to bring him back right now. Okay, but I'm not the coach, I'm not the GM, I'm not the owner. All right. So what are y'all scenarios with Bryce right now? What do y'all think should happen?
Go ahead, Duff.
For me, I think it is like Andy even said, I think during the broadcast they were saying Andy talked to Bryce, he had to get benched. Nobody likes getting benched. But one thing that I think needs to be spoken up about or spoken on or a talking point, just because you're drafted in the first round does not mean that you need to start. And that's what hurt Bryce. Being a number one pick,
Mm-hmm.
the success of CJ Stroud, which I'm gonna make this quick point. I think people are starting to figure out CJ Stroud. He had 2 bad games back to back, even though that they won one, and then he did not look good this past week. I think people are realizing when he is not he's off his spot, CJ Stroud is not good. But back to Bryce is this is the more success CJ Stroud has and Bryce doesn't have any type of success, that's gonna hurt his stock. That's gonna hurt the light on him being the number one pick, regardless of what we do here. Um, it's really hard to say. Like I was talking to the 2 big cousins over the weekend. Bryce is going to come back. We don't know when that is, but again, like CJ just said, if Andy is on a roll, which I think he will, because he's already happy to play against his former team in the Bengals this upcoming Sunday, so we may have another glorified red rifle game from Andy Dalton. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I do like that they're not giving up because I do still think Bryce has something there. And one thing that we've seen, look at Sam Darnold, look at Baker Mayfield. When they leave Carolina, they've been able to be great quarterbacks at their new designation. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I honestly think he had a disservice. He had a coach that didn't want him. That's all I'm gonna say. I know people are gonna say, "Well, Doug, look what Sam Darnold was able to do with the weapons in the offensive line that we had last year." Only thing I'm gonna say, the coach did not want him and it showed. Other than that, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's time to move on because again, you invested too much in Bryce Young already. But I do think there is a plan for him, and we just have to see what that plan is.
Yeah. All right. And hold on, Tony, before you go. Hey, Thomas, let me tell you, I was going to say this later. He says if we can't win enough to play for the playoffs, should we play Bryce at that point or Plummer? I almost want to say Plummer. That would be the only way I would be all right with Bryce coming back at this point. If we got to the point, it's like, okay, cool, we are officially eliminated from the playoffs. You know what? Yeah, put him in a couple games and see what he do. But on the off chance, okay, and I'm saying off chance because I'm not putting the cart in front of the horse here. Okay, and the off chance that we actually are hanging around and sniffing the playoffs a little bit, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let Andy play and keep him on the field.
Hey, can I say this? Let Plummer come do that plumbing job for you, CJ. You know what I'm talking about. That's all he needs to do.
Hey, look, I
That's
don't
all
think
he
he
needs
get
to do.
that one either. Hey, but you know what? In the car, you make a good point.
Oh,
Hey, we play. Yeah, because I told both of y'all about that today.
That's all he
Let me
needs to
tell you.
do.
But hey, I spent all okay, that's another story. But yeah, we play Andy Dalton played for the Bengals, who we play next week. He played for the Bears, who we played the next week after that. He also played for the Cowboys, who we play later on in the year, and he played for the Saints, who we play again, but this time back at the bank. So, hey, I don't know exactly how long the revenge tour might go on for Andy, but I hope he can exact a lot of it this season. But yeah, we play all his former teams this year.
Yeah.
I didn't think
One thing we talked about Friday, and like I said, I know I mentioned it earlier. I say it again. With Andy Dalton, history has always shown us with Andy Dalton, even when he was in Cincinnati or with any other team, he is a true pocket passer. So when you can create a clean pocket, majority of the time, Andy Dalton can get the job done for you. So I'm putting a lot of stock into that interior offensive line that they'll be able to keep him upright. I know there was a few pressures that came through yesterday, but hey, that's just football. I seen quite a few people on Twitter and whatnot talking about, yeah, the Panthers should just go ahead and trade Bryce now. They should took one of them offers. Here's what I have to say about that. This is chess, not checkers. Okay? People have to understand the art of negotiation. If Carolina was to balk right now and take one of these trade offers, they are doing themselves a disservice if they're going to try to get the maximum draft, maximum compensation for Bryce Young. You do not want to trade your quarterback whose confidence is broken, who is looking to shell of himself, for someone to come along and say, "Oh, we'll give you a fourth or fifth round draft pick," and you just say, "Okay, we're here. Just take it and just be done." I don't think it's that serious. I don't think Carolina's at the point to want to do that. Secondly, he is the number two quarterback behind Andy Dalton. So if you trade Bryce, who would be your number two quarterback? And God forbid, I hope nobody would say, well, Jack Plummer can come in and do what Bryce Young could do as the backup quarterback. No, the hell he can't. Let's just keep it 100. Jack Plummer looked like Jack Plummer in the preseason because he was playing out there with the twos and threes. So we're gonna talk about Bryce playing against the twos in that one series against Buffalo. You have to think about all the other times when Jack Plummer played throughout the preseason, who he was playing against. So let's not get it confused of what we're saying here. Because we know Andy Dalton's 36 years old. He's a little fragile, you know what I'm saying? And there's a good chance, knock on wood, I hope it don't happen, but if he got hurt, I don't think you want to put the confidence in Jack Plummer to carry you for the rest of the season, especially if the season has been going good. Um I think Bryce right now is in the position that he needs to be in. If Andy Dalton continues to play uh like he did Sunday, then yeah, keep Bryce on the bench, let him build his confidence, let him learn more of the playbook, let him be in Andy Dalton ear and try to gain as much exposure and ask as many questions and learn behind a veteran QB and let him see what it looks like to play behind a clean pocket. Maybe a light bulb or something will switch off in his head or whatnot. I don't know. But I think he's in the best position that he needs to be in right now, going forward, not only for himself, but for the Panthers as well.
But and I would say this to that. Now, whatever they can get for Bryce Young now, I think that's going to be as good as it get, Tony. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, if say Andy, now I hope this doesn't happen. Say Andy Dalton gets hurt later on in the season, and Bryce comes in and balls out for a few games. Okay, then it's like you go into the next year. Of course, they're going to keep him. We're going to go through this whole thing in training camp again. And like I think Thomas said, he'll play in the preseason next year. Or whatever. But I think that if they do decide to trade him, now is the time. I don't think they're gonna get much more, for Bryce than they would now. But if they do end up keeping him, you know, now here's another question.
But
Now I
hold
do
on, hold
saying,
on let me respond to what you just said before you ask the second question. But to what you just said, if Andy Dalton, God forbid,
mm,
knock on wood that he don't get hurt, but if he got hurt and Bryce comes in and he balls out, why would we even why would we even still be considering trading Bryce Young? Because if he comes in and balls out, wouldn't it be would you be willing to say, okay, well, Bryce got his confidence back? Bryce learned what he needed to learn sitting behind
mm,
Andy Dalton. And now that Andy Dalton is not there, he steps in and he keeps carrying the torch that, that Andy Dalton had laid before him and he balls out. Because if he balls out, there's no need to trade him. He's still a rookie on a rookie deal.
mm.
So I wouldn't trade him if he balls out.
Yeah. Well, let's just if he does, let's just hope it's not fool's gold though. Okay. You get a few good games out of him. Now, I'm just saying. I'm trying to go through all the scenarios. You get a few games out of him this year, and then we turn around and start next season off like this one. Man, I think, let me tell you, they would probably what if any of the renovation started on the stadium, or they started making that new practice facility out there, I think Panther Nation would go and burn all that to the ground. Just tear it all up. But yeah, but let me see. Nakari said, nah, CJ, just like Miami's going through QB hell, teams are going to get desperate and give up more than they should. Okay. All right.
Hey,
Gotcha.
No,
Gotcha.
I'm
Hmm?
just laughing at the last one.
can I
Hold
can I
on.
can I say this though, CJ? I'm gonna break it down. It hurt me hearing it. You know how people were saying Bryce should throw for 275 yards. Let's go to first game. First
Yeah.
game, we were saying that.
Mm,
Then, whenever you see that post locker room speech, Andy Dalton's the first quarterback this year to throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Deontay
mm,
Johnson had a career high in yards, which blew my mind.
Fact,
I said,
fact.
"What?"
Yeah,
So,
I was shocked too. I
this
was
is
shocked
only
too,
three
Doug.
games. Then Chuba Hubbard
mm-hmm,
had 100 yards. Bryce is in that locker room listening to that. The confidence that I thought he possibly had, I know it was shattered. It was shot right through the glass. You know how you got tempered glass? I know the hole went right through. I was like, this man hearing all these stats, hearing all these
mm,
accolades, and you could have possibly done this with the offense that you had, and you weren't able to do it. And
mm-hmm.
Andy Dalton, that has not started a game since last year, and he only started because of an injury, and he said that he's looking for the opportunity. I know his confidence is shot. I think he's still a great player, but the problem I need him to the pill to swallow is get your confidence back up, young man. Like Baker said, this happened to him. It's happened to Andy Dalton. This happened to a lot of quarterbacks. Sam Darnold. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this is not the end, and that's one thing I'm
Yeah.
hoping. But what
Right.
I do like is they showed a clip that he was the first one to the tunnel, and he tried to shake and congratulate every single player. That's one thing.
Yeah.
He is a team player, but I know deep down it's hard on him because this is supposed to be his team. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
Dave Canales is not just saying one thing and thinking the other. That this is still Bryce is still our future quarterback, and I hope that is you know you're saying one thing publicly, but you can be doing something differently. But again, I need his confidence to be back because his confidence is shattered and it has been shot.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what though?
Facts.
Let me ask y'all this. And I don't know if y'all know, has he been on a bad team?
No,
Um,
no,
No.
oh, okay.
no,
Yeah. Because I
never.
mean, he played
Not,
at
not,
Mater
not
Day
even
back in
since, not even since,
California.
what do you call that? They don't call it AAU football. What do they call it? Pop Warner.
Oh,
Seven on
Pop
seven.
Warner.
707 and
Yeah.
Pop Warner.
Mhm.
He has
Yeah.
never,
I
even,
I think last year really like shook him. And it was he looked good in practice, and we all said it, including myself. I was there. I got plenty of clips on it. Bryce looked good in practice. I thought he was going to go out there and look good in the game. But when the bullets started flying, I mean, it was just, and especially his first throw, an interception.
yeah,
And I think that was
Yeah.
all it took. And maybe man was having flashbacks or something. Well, I don't know. But at this point, I think this is the first time he's had like true, what's the word? Well, he's on a good team now, but I don't know. To me, it seems like that first play just it almost ruined him for the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a wide body beat.